Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
We are ready for the event.
Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Jim Duquette and Ryan Spielbergs with Sirius XM MLB Network Radio. How do you hear us?
Hey, Jim and Ryan, we have you loud and clear.
Yes. Awesome.
Live in 10. Thank you, gentlemen. 5, 4.
Power Alley.
With Ryan Spielbergs and Jim Duquette.
Welcome back to MLB Network Radio. We are connected with the International Space Station, and we are absolutely floored to get a chance to chat with Shane Kimbrough and Mark Vande Hei up in the space station right now. Ryan Spielbergs, Jim Duquette. Guys, first off, it is such an honor to have you guys on this program. I know this is a lot of work. You guys have long days. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Hey, we're glad to be here. It kind of breaks our day up, and we're looking forward to chatting with both of you.
And yes, great to connect. And Shane, I wanted to connect with you first, obviously, because we've spoken before. And obviously, we're excited to have you back. And obviously, Mark, welcome and glad to have you guys. We were wondering this right out of the gate. Like, what time did your day get started today?
So we're on Greenwich Mean Time, so it's 4 hours ahead of Eastern Time right now in the U.S. And we usually start around 6:30 is when we wake up. Our day officially starts about 7:30 when we have a conference with all the mission control centers around the world. And then we're running until about 7:30 at night, so it's usually about a 12-hour workday.
Well, did you guys dream about doing what you're doing? I mean, there's a handful of people above the planet right now. And Mark Witt, when you think about what you're doing right now as an astronaut, was this something you always wanted to do? And what does that feel like to actually be in the middle of a mission in space?
Gosh, just thinking about it makes me want to just giggle. I can't believe I'm so fortunate. I actually didn't ever dare to believe that I could get a job this cool. And even when I started working at NASA for a bit, I thought there's no way they would hire me to do this job. And my wife had to convince me to at least try. And I'm so happy I did. It's incredible to be up here and to be able to do science for all of humanity and help further the boundaries of human existence and understanding.
Shane, what are some of the things you guys are working on, either the last couple of days or even today?
Yeah, so we're getting ready for a cargo vehicle to arrive on Thursday. It's supposed to launch tonight out of Virginia, and it's going to bring us a lot of goodies, a lot of new science for us to do, and also, new food and clothes and provisions and even care packages from our families. So we're really looking forward to that getting here on Thursday. And so some of today's activities have been built around that. So the people that are going to use the robotic arm to actually fly the robotic arm and grab this vehicle that's moving alongside of us, they were practicing that this morning. I was getting some things actually ready for Mark. Mark and Aki are going to do a spacewalk here in about 2 weeks, and so I was getting some equipment ready for that, and they were clearing out the airlock to get ready for this spacewalk as well today. So a busy day already today, and we'll have a lot of great science starting this weekend once the cargo spacecraft arrives on Thursday.
If you're listening to this and you want to see Shane and Mark, they are floating in space right now. You can go to nasa.gov/live and you can watch them. It's absolutely amazing. Mark's doing a backflip for us. Mark, take us through what a spacewalk. I mean, you're talking about in 2 weeks, you're going to walk out in space. What does that feel like? What does it sound like? What does your body feel like? Could we actually play baseball in space? What would that look like?
How much time do you have? Actually, to make it really short, it is kind of mind-blowing. We get trained really, really well. We're very focused on our tasks, and we have tons to do, so we're very, very focused. But in the background of all this work you're doing is literally nothing but your visor between your eyes and open space. So every now and then when you get a break to take a look or take some photos, it's really hard to actually even understand what you're seeing. It's just so foreign to what we normally get to observe.
That was one of the things we were wondering about. We know, like, all right, you have the greatest view ever of Earth. What's on the other side? Like, what do you see? Like, what are the things that you see the other way?
Well, now we get a good view of the night sky, especially from Endeavour, where our spacecraft is parked, because it's up on top of the space station. We recently moved up there, and I'm sleeping in there still, so I get some really good, nice views of space. So I'm just looking out into the darkness of space, millions and millions of stars. This weekend, we had the just incredible pleasure of seeing several auroras as we went down in the southern hemisphere. And we were all just completely blown away by really flying through these green gases that are just dancing all around you. It was really spectacular.
We're watching Mark's playing with the baseball, no sticky stuff. It's just floating around. He even hit it with the mic, and it had an exit velocity of 119. When you guys think about what you're exploring for, and to your point, millions of stars, a galaxy in the expanse so much in front of us, where are we scratching the surface right now in space exploration? Like, what are we looking to find?
I think we are doing science up here to actually help life right now on the planet, but we're also trying to understand how to help people be healthier in long-duration space flights, like us for 6 months, to go further away. There's a lot of work going on right now to put people back on the moon. And I am firmly convinced that that's going to be one of our stepping stones to getting to Mars someday.
That's pretty cool. I'm curious too on what is the impact. You know, I know when Shane, we've talked to you about this when you were pitching, you know, in college or whatever, the training that you went through for that. What's the impact in the training, you know, even now on your guys' body?
Well, that's a really good question. Space does some crazy things to your body, and if we don't work out up here, your body kind of just falls apart. So your bones start deteriorating, your muscles do the same. So we have a 2-hour workout regimen up here every day, about an hour of weightlifting with resistive machine that's really incredible, and an hour of cardio either on a stationary bike that's not really stationary. We're sitting right here next to the floating bike, and also we have a treadmill to do cardio on. So our trainers back home in Houston and all around the world for our international astronauts do a great job of keeping us fit and in shape, and so that when we get back to Earth, our bodies, you know, can actually function at a high level. And actually, most of the times we're stronger when we get back home just because we're working out so much up here in space.
Is it the shower that you look most forward to? Because we know that when you're in anti-gravity, there's no shower. So you just wear clothes and you just kind of smell what you smell like. What is the biggest challenge returning from space back to Earth?
So certainly taking a shower is a fantastic feeling, as long as it doesn't make you feel nauseous because of that sensation of things flowing down your body that you haven't had for so long. Getting back to Earth, for me personally, the time that I felt the most frustrated or grumpy about my situation was just trying to bend over and tie my shoes because I hadn't had the balance for so long, and those small muscles in my lower back, even though I could do a good deadlift, there was a lot of balancing muscles that had not been activated. And I also think I lost some flexibility up here because I just wasn't quite as limber, didn't have to move in the same way I do on the ground.
Now, did I see you guys are testing ways to clean your guys clean your clothes for, I don't know if it's during this trip or for the next one or whatever, but that's part of what you guys are working. I don't know if working on is the right word, but you're going to hopefully figure out.
We're not part of that experiment. So, and get back to your earlier point, we do shower every day, so to speak, which means we have some towels that have soap in them. We put add water to that, and then we clean ourselves off especially after our workouts. We're drenched from working really hard for a couple hours, and you wouldn't want to be floating around here after not cleaning yourself off. So we do that every day, and there's no real smell or anything. Maybe an initial kind of like a gym locker room kind of smell, but once you get your shower up in space, you're good to go. Yeah, and these clothes, we wear them for a certain amount of time that they tell us we're supposed to wear them, and then we go to a new set or a new shirt or socks or whatever it is, and we have every piece of clothing has a limit on how often you're supposed to wear it, and that's just because of the resupply system, and we got to make sure we're adhering to that so that we have enough clothes to make it through our mission.
We're chatting with Shane Kimbrough and Mark Vande Hei. They are connected right now to the International Space Station. It's an absolute thrill for us right now. We get to see them on nasa.gov/live. You can see them floating in space. I want to go back to the discussion of the moon, Mars, and even we're seeing organizations and companies trying to create commercial flights to space. Like, how realistic is, our kids flying up into space and experiencing what you're doing? And then the other point is, why has it taken us so long to get back to the moon? It's been 1972.
So our space program is a function of our political system and our priorities. So when we make it a priority to get to the moon, and there's a lot of different reasons other than just space exploration, but international relations, for example, that was a big part of our success in getting to the moon. We want to get back to the moon, and for us to be able to do it, having commercial enterprise maintain this capability we've developed for a couple decades now, to have people living in orbit, that's still really useful for us. We get to be able to maintain that and use taxpayer dollars to get back to the moon. We've got to have commercial enterprise be able to do that, and us, the government, become one of many customers. So that is our agenda. We want all these companies to be successful, and that is in our national interest.
I'm curious with both you guys. Let's talk a little baseball, because I know, Shane, you're a big Braves fan. Mark, you're a Twins fan, right? And you got two teams going in different directions, right? Twins this year not been playing all that well. In Atlanta, I don't know if you've been following this, Shane. I mean, they've gotten into second place now. How much are you guys following your teams there from space?
Yeah, I follow them very closely every day. I have a couple of apps that I look at every morning when I wake up, and of course we usually don't stay up late enough to see the end of the game, so I'll check the scores in the morning. Yeah, the Braves have had a good week and a half or so, and they still got the Phillies and the Mets to deal with, so we'll see what happens there. But there's a lot of close races. The NL West is just stacked. The AL East is pretty stacked, so it'll be interesting to see if those teams get three teams in the playoffs or not.
Where would you say you guys are right now?
If I have any
to orbit. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, Mark will check it out on our little app right here. Just a second.
So I was going to ask, because it's an international space station, and with the Olympics just being completed, did you guys all watch the Olympics together? What was the sport that you closely followed?
We have the chance to watch it all the time. We have one live TV channel that they can stream up here for us, and so we just had it on one of the network, NBC channels that was streaming stuff all day, every day. So whenever you had a free moment, you stop by and watch it. And we saw a lot of events that we'd never seen before or heard of, but we learned a lot. And then, of course, we saw the big events. We have a French astronaut up here who's real into basketball, so the gold medal game was great on our side, at least. And of course, they beat us the first time around, so it was a fun banter. We have a Japanese astronaut up here as well, so it was an honor for him to be here. Of course, with Tokyo hosting, and Japan really did well in the Olympics. And baseball, of course, we got to watch the final game there. Mark and Naki and I were watching as Japan blanked the U.S. there in that gold medal game, but it was really a great game.
That's pretty cool. Mark,
and by the way, we are passing over Central America right now, and in about 5 minutes, we'll be going over Central Florida.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Mark, I wanted to ask you, who's your favorite Twin back from those days, with the World Series team, maybe in '87, or is there another one? Is there another Twin that was your favorite player growing up?
Definitely Kirby Puckett. My favorite memory, and actually the time I would say I became a Twins fan, was sitting in the stands watching a little kid who actually managed to get the home run ball from an opposing team, and all the other fans around said, "Throw it back, throw it back." And I didn't understand what this is all about. The kid was so excited he threw the ball back, and everyone cheered for him, and then I kind of felt bad for the kid. And then Kirby Puckett comes running out to the outfield and looks around, and all the fans start pointing at the kid, and they threw him a signed baseball. And to this day, I kind of feel overwhelmed with emotion for how happy that kid was. It was really a neat moment to see.
Speaking of kids, if there's an aspiring kid that wants to be an astronaut down the road, like, where do you start? What do you do? I mean, like, how does somebody end up being in a role like you, exploring a scientist up in space? How do you start?
Well, you start with education, of course. That's something that's, all of us that are in this position have been in the math, science, engineering, technical world. Now, that's not to say that that's going to stay that way forever, because things are certainly changing, but at least currently you have to have those kind of backgrounds. And you got to do pretty well at them, of course. And then you just got to be passionate. All of us have passions for different things, and I think that really showed through in our interview process, that we, whatever that was, and we come up through different ranks. So like Mark and I came up through the Army, the military, but most of our astronauts now are civilians. So there's many different ways to become an astronaut, but the backbone, the foundation of all of our careers getting here was education.
Mark, I'm curious, well, for both of you, but Mark, I'll start with you. You get this care package, among other things, coming up here tomorrow. Do you know what's in there? Like, what are you looking forward to the most from there?
I'm looking forward to the surprise. Actually, almost every time we do get some fresh food, and you can imagine being up here, we don't get a lot of that. I have had the absolute best tasting apple I have ever had in my entire life on the space station.
That's awesome. Is there, like, I think everybody wants to know, is there a favorite space movie for you guys, space TV show? I mean, like, we got to know, what's the closest one to what you guys actually do?
Wow, that's a good question. I'm not sure we all would agree on that, but I know recently we watched Passengers. That was a great movie. Tama and I watched it last time on our last mission. That's when it came out in theaters, and we got to view it up here before it came out, so that was good. I like all of them in general, just for the entertainment value. I don't really go to look at the technical. Are they doing it right or wrong? But The Martian, I think, is one of my favorites. That's several of us like that one as well.
Are you guys able to see, other event? You mentioned the Olympics. Are you able to see many baseball games up there at all?
Like on the weekends when we have some downtime, if we want to watch a game and it's currently on, we can just ask for that to be streamed up. And so usually I just get the highlights, get sent up through another system that we have. So every morning I'll wake up and I'll see highlights from the teams I like. I also get SportsCenter every day, so I catch up on all the sports by viewing that while I'm working out.
Shane, Mark, we have been absolutely floored by this opportunity to chat with you. We know you have a very busy day. When do you guys return? And what does that feel like when you know you're leaving the space station and coming back to Earth?
Yeah, we got a few more months up here. My crew does. Mark's on a different crew. I'll let him answer here in a minute. But we're supposed to come back in early November, so we're about 2.5, 3 months to go, just over halfway through our mission. I'll let Mark answer.
So officially, I'm up here for about the same amount of time as Shane, 6 months. So when my Soyuz crew departs, I'll go with them. But there are some things in the works that could change that. So keep your ears tuned, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, what a tease! Shane, Mark, we appreciate your time. I mean, it is such a thrill for us. We appreciate what you do. You never know what your research is going to do down the road for all of us down here. We are absolutely floored by all the effort done today. Please be safe and connect with us when you guys get back.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes our event.
Thank you to all the participants from Sirius XM MLB Network Radio. Jim and Ryan, great interview. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.